pre-admission testing. So those are my main concerns, and I feel validated in those worries. Good Friday morning, everyone. Harlow and I have been busy today, and I forgot the camera in the car, but from her face, I'm sure you can tell where we've been with the dirt on her. We were at our neighborhood dog park, and there were some dogs there for her to play with. I got a few clips on my phone. I'll show them to you. Harlow, you really like their football, don't you? So Harlow made some friends, which is unusual because the dog park is always empty, but she burned some energy, had some fun, which is exactly what I wanted her to do because we've got a long day at the hospital ahead of us. I have my surgery pre-testing. I've never done surgery pre-testing before, and they said I'm gonna be there like 3 hours, which I don't even know what they could possibly need me for 3 hours. Maybe like paperwork. I'm expecting blood work, a chest x-ray, and maybe an EKG, but I don't know, we'll see what the 3 hours is. Maybe it's just a lot of waiting. Anyways, I woke up feeling better than I did yesterday, and I wanted to take advantage, so I folded the laundry, put it away, did some cleaning. Then Harlow alerted to me that I was doing just a bit too much and I was going to faint, so I laid down and elevated my feet, prevented that syncope episode, which is wonderful. And then I rested for a bit. I also ran a liter of fluids because today is infusion day. I'm supposed to do 2 liters, but I just don't want to be hooked up while I'm at the hospital. So I'll do the 2nd liter when I get home this afternoon. And then I wanted to take Harlow and give her a treat, run at the dog park before we go to the hospital. All right, Hippo, let's get the dirt off of you. Brush you out. I know. So just love your coat. It's so easy to brush all the dirt off. You're good as new. And you still smell good from your bath. Good girl. On the way to the hospital with my mom and Harlow in the back. I'm still not exactly sure what they're gonna do while I'm there, but it's basically just making sure that I'm healthy enough to go through the surgery, like clearing me for surgery. My physicians have said they don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to do it, but this is just protocol. Made it to the hospital. We are in admitting and registration to get me set up for surgery. I checked in, they verified my insurance, address, name, date of birth, typical things like that, and now I am waiting at pre-admission testing. Well, we are just relaying my medical history. I got an EKG. And we're almost done. So the pre-testing was just an EKG. They had lab work that was up to date and a chest x-ray that was up to date. It was really just a long time answering a lot of questions. And now I'm ready to go. It was pretty much just 2.5 hours worth of going over my history, all of my medical conditions, the medications I take, my allergies, and they were very thorough. Right, Mom? They were super thorough?
Very thorough.
And we had an awesome nurse.
Really nice.
Yeah, our nurse was amazing. So, basically, they just want to know everything about me to make sure things go as smoothly as possible. And I'm ready to do this surgery. I'm just really worn out right now. I am so cozy in my bed. I had another liter of fluids to run today, but I'm going to sleep now and I don't want to have to wake up in 4 hours to disconnect flush and all that, so I'm just going to run that liter tomorrow. I honestly had just enough energy to shower, start my new feed bag, nebulizer treatment, pills, dissolve and push pills through my feeding tube, take care of Harlow. That was it. I'm in bed and I'm not getting up again. Were you under the bed? Harlow, up. Good girl, come here. Keep me warm. Oh, good girl. Your breath is so warm. Warm me. Use your ears. So the pre-admission testing was not a whole bunch of testing. I just did an EKG. It was really just a lot of verifying information, my medical history. They were very thorough, which is awesome. And we are all ready and cleared for surgery. Yeah, we are. So I feel very prepared for my surgery, but some of y'all may be wondering, am I nervous? And when it comes to medical procedures, everybody will experience them in their own way. But being nervous before this kind of thing is totally normal. It's validated. Just like being nervous on your first day of school or on your first day of a new job, that's normal. It's not a sign of weakness. You know, it's just human. It's a human trait to be nervous before these kinds of things, and that's okay. But personally, me right now, I don't feel nervous. I feel very ready to get this thing done. And one thing I do to make myself more comfortable with this sort of thing is I like to know as much as I can. I made myself as knowledgeable as possible. I made sure I was very involved in my care, made sure I chose a surgeon I was confident in, and I also made sure the decision to go through with this surgery was the right one. And I honestly feel at peace with everything, and I'm ready to get it done. So typically, I don't start feeling nervous until the day of my procedure. In pre-op, I got the typical pre-surgical jitters, and I just focused on getting through the procedure so I can focus on recovery. But things have kind of changed ever since my bone marrow biopsy. My bone marrow biopsy was not a good experience for me at all. They didn't sedate me, they only used lidocaine, which probably would have been fine, but because of my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, my body metabolizes lidocaine very quickly. So essentially, it has no effect on me. That bone marrow biopsy was extremely painful and just not a good experience. And ever since then, when I go into a operating room, I get very nervous. Pre-op, just jittery. The OR itself, then I get nervous because I honestly think the bone marrow biopsy has made me more prone to procedure-related anxiety, which again is fine. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's normal. But also in the OR, things are very bright. There's all these weird instruments around that are going to be used inside my body. All of the personnel have the hairnet and the mask on, so you can't really see them. And while they're talking to me to make me feel more comfortable, they're also talking to each other with all this medical jargon I don't fully understand. So it can be a bit overwhelming. So what I do to make myself more comfortable is when the anesthesiologist comes around in pre-op, obviously I explain my medical history, past problems I've had with anesthesia, what works better for me, what doesn't. But then I also clearly explain that because of my EDS, they're going to need to use more than they typically would to keep me under, that I'm hard to sedate. And once they are aware of that and they understand it, I feel much more comfortable. And I also asked them to give me my Versed, which is the medicine they use to first start sedating me while I'm in pre-op. So by the time I get to the OR, I'm more relaxed and groggy, and that honestly helps me a lot. What's kind of funny though, is usually Versed is enough to knock someone out. So everyone's so surprised that I'm still having lucid conversations after 2 doses, but obviously they understand it's because of the EDS. So all of my concerns are really surrounding my EDS. I'm worried I'm not going to sedate well because of it. For my port surgery, I was wide awake through the whole thing. I became aware during my wisdom tooth surgery, so obviously I'm worried about that happening again. I've never had general anesthesia, so that'll be a new experience for me. I'm also concerned because my EDS causes delayed healing, so complications could arise from that. Additionally, pain medication does not work well on me because I metabolize pain meds very quickly as well. I can't take narcotics for my chronic pain because regular use of them lowers the seizure threshold. It makes my narcolepsy worse. I can't take really important medications if I'm taking narcotics. And narcotics negatively impact motility, which I already have a big issue with because of my gastroparesis. But obviously after open abdominal surgery, I'm going to need narcotics. But because I metabolize them fast, I am concerned that my pain will not be well controlled. So those are my main concerns, and I feel validated in those worries. I have made my team aware, and I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to fixate on them. I think the best way I can go into the surgery is with a positive mindset, strong faith in the Lord, and no real expectations, because everybody handles surgery and recovery so individually. I'm just gonna see how things go and take it one day at a time. You know, some people think that the more medical procedures you do, the easier it gets. And while that may be true for some, the majority of chronic illness warriors I know would disagree with that. I disagree with that because I still get the jitters before procedures. I still don't like the OR room. And even though I've done all these things plenty of times, I still feel the way I feel. And that's okay. So I have my faith. I go into it positively. I make my concerns known, but I don't fixate on them, you know? And for this surgery, I feel very prepared for it and very confident. Anyways, I will stop my little spiel there, but before I say goodnight, I really want to thank y'all for the support you've given myself and my family through this process, and it just means a lot to us. I am ready to go to sleep. Harlow's being adorable, snuggling me, and she is what's keeping me warm since our heater still isn't working, but maintenance said they're gonna come look at it. And with that, I will say goodnight, and thanks for joining us on our adventure.